हेलो बच्चों, आप सभी का स्वागत है गेट वाला में। और हमारी टीम की तरफ से भी, द्रोणा टीम की तरफ से मैं सतीश यादव आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। आज जो है वो वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक इनटू अ कंप्यूटर साइंस, दैट इज बेसिकली अ ग्राफ. So we'll try to understand what is a graph, some of the theorems related to a graph, and many things that will be covered into the basics of a graph. And obviously, see, most of the 60% of a computer science problem can easily be convertible to a graph. आप एल्गोरिथम की बात करो, आप कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क की बात करो, आप डीबीएमएस की बात करो, देयर आर सो मेनी टॉपिक्स दैट यू कैन ट्राई टू कन्वर्ट दैट प्रॉब्लम इनटू अ ग्राफ थ्योरी. तो आज हमारा टॉपिक ही यही है कि बेसिकली ग्राफ होता क्या है और ग्राफ शुरू कहां से हुआ, ग्राफ में टर्म्स क्या होते हैं, टर्मिनोलॉजी क्या होती है, और ग्राफ में थ्योरम्स क्या होते हैं. सर एक गेट का क्वेश्चन भी करा देना, बिल्कुल कराएंगे हम. तो आज विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज बेसिकली अ ग्राफ. माय नेम इज सतीश यादव एंड अगेन आई विल गिव यू अ वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट to let's try to understand basically what is a graph and the things that will be related to a graph. Now basically what is a graph? ग्राफ का नाम लेते ही आपके दिमाग में पिक्चर रिप्रेजेंटेशंस आती है कि बेसिकली कुछ तरीके से तो ग्राफ ड्रॉ होगा ही होगा. बट व्हाट आर द टर्म्स दैट वी कैन गो एंड वी कैन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो ग्राफ, द फर्स्ट थिंग व्हाट आई कैन से दैट कि हियर यू विल बी हैविंग अ ग्राफ, here you will be having a graph. तो obvious सी बात है इसका representation देना पड़ेगा. We have to give some representation to it. So now we'll try to give a representation G. G is basically a variable. अरे भाई राम सीता गीता रीता in 10th class, remember you used to give a variable. The same thing you are also giving a variable, a G, which has been assigned to a graph. Okay sir, I understood what is a graph, I mean the terms, obviously the spelling, and now we have used a variable that is nothing but a G. Now what is this graph? Graph is basically, it is made up of two things. The first one, here you will get one set and here you will get another set. So sir, are you trying to say that the graph is basically made up of two things? Yes, graph is basically made up of two things. And what is that? This is one set, that is another set. But what is this set? This set is basically called as a set of vertices. So here you will be having this definition which is called as a set of vertices. This A is basically called as a set of edges. Sir, I understood that graph is made up of two things. The first thing is basically called as a set of vertices and second thing is basically called as a set of edges. But sir, what is vertices? Sir, what is edges? Yes, that we have to understand. See, whenever you people will see any particular point, then that we have to consider as a vertex. Sir, but you have written here vertices, but here this is a vertex. Bhai, singular hai, plural mein what we can take? That is nothing but the vertices. Okay, whenever you will see any particular line or whenever you will see any particular branch, then that you have to consider as a edge on a singular term. But what we can do, we can also write this as edges on a plural term. तो आप ये कहना चाहते हो कि सर जो ग्राफ होती है दैट इज बेसिकली मेड अप ऑफ सेट ऑफ वर्टाइसेस एंड सेट ऑफ एजेस. जी हाँ सर, वर्टाइसेस क्या होता है? whenever you can see a point, consider as a vertex. whenever you see a line, consider that as a edge. So as you can see over here basically we are having some representation. Now whenever you will see a point, that you have to consider as a vertex. whenever you will see a line, that you have to consider as a edge. Okay sir, can you show us? Yes, definitely. See, here you will be having this particular one vertex representation. This is another vertex representation. This is another vertex representation. This is another vertex representation. घर में टाइल्स होती है, जो पॉइंट्स होते हैं वो आपके क्या होते हैं? वर्टाइसेस होते हैं. जो लाइन होती है that is basically the edges. Now you can think of anything. You try to convert the algorithm problems, you can always try to convert into a graph. So whenever you will try to consider, you will try to take, एक एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं. लेट्स कंसिडर द राउटर रिप्रेजेंटेशन. सो द राउटर रिप्रेजेंटेशन दैट यू कैन कंसिडर एज अ वर्टेक्स एंड राउटर इज कनेक्टेड टू द अदर router. That link is basically you can consider as a edge. You can also consider this is 4 routers are connected, one example, or 4 computers are connected with the help of line distribution. So now the points are basically called as the vertices. Okay, and now this line are basically called as the edges. So here you will have edge number 1, edge number 2, edge number 3, and then edge number 4. So basically this is representation of a graph. Sir, graph itna hi hai? Yes, graph itna hi hai. Okay, now what we can say that this is your graph. A graph is having a set of vertices and set of edges. So sir, ye V kya hai? V is basically representing as V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4. Now what is this E? E is basically a set of edges. This is E1, this is E2, this is E3, this is E4. So here you will be having this particular representation. बस हाँ, पहले पॉइंट को लिख लो, फिर लाइन को लिख लो, इसको ही ग्राफ कहा जाता है. सर एक डाउट है मेरा, पहले मैं लाइन लिख लूं और बाद में वर्टाइसेस लिख लूं? नहीं, दिस इज ऑर्डर रिप्रेजेंटेशन. द फर्स्ट यू हैव टू डू. सर अगर लिख दिया तो क्या होगा? See, even if you are trying to write it down, that is not the standard format. Our standard format is basically a set of vertices and set of edges, a set of points and set of lines. That is basically called as a graph. It is very simple definition. हो गया definition graph का? हाँ भाई हो गया definition graph का. एक point बस missing है. Let me tell you what is that point, and that point is very very important. Each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. Sir, unordered, ये समझ में नहीं आया sir. What is this? Each edge is represented as unordered pair of vertices. इसको कहा जाता है unordered pair of vertices. Sir, okay, I understood that each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. I understood only pair of vertices. But what is the meaning of unordered? The meaning of unordered. Okay, let's go and let's try to discuss what is meaning of unordered. So for example, if I will try to write it down, here the E1 is associated with V1 comma V2. Let's consider, suppose if I will write it down like this. E1 is associated with unordered pair of vertices. E1 is associated with V1 comma V2. Sir, mandatory hai? Yes, mandatory hai. Every edge has to be associated with unordered pair of vertices. So each edge must be associated with unordered pair of vertices. तो ये जो हो गए उसको पेयर ऑफ वर्टाइसेस कहते हैं. अनऑर्डर्ड अभी भी नहीं समझा है तो एक बच्चा खड़ा होकर बोलेगा व्हाई यू आर राइटिंग V1 कॉमा V2. व्हाट विल हैपन इफ आई विल राइट V2 कॉमा V1? दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ अनऑर्डर्ड. आप किसी भी ऑर्डर में लिख सकते हो, उससे ही हम अनऑर्डर्ड पेयर ऑफ वर्टाइसेस कहते हैं. सो E1 इज एसोसिएटेड विद V1 कॉमा V2. कोई बच्चा बोलेगा कि V2 कॉमा V1 से एसोसिएट करना. यस, फाइन. So that is the meaning of unordered pair of vertices. Now your definition is complete. If anyone says that what is graph, then you simply say that a graph is basically a G, a variable, which is a set of vertices, set of edges. What is a set of vertices? It's a collection of points. What is a set of edges? Collection of lines or collection of E1, E2, E3 or a branch. Okay sir, I understood. What is the third statement? The third point is each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. That is basically called as our graph. I hope you have understood the basic definition of a graph. Okay, even if you want to take it to a further level, we can also understand about a further level. DFA define करने बोलूँगा तो क्या बोलोगे? If I will tell you, can you define the DFA? Then you will say that, sir, I have somewhere heard that DFA can be defined by 5 things. Yes, in the same way, your graph can also be defined by 3 tuples. Okay, and here you will be having the incident function. Okay, I understood V, I understood E, but what is this? This is called as the incident function. अब भी मैंने statement बोला था, each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. Yes, that is called as the incident function. So every edge has to be associated with unordered pair of vertices. So if you will be taking V1 here, if you will be taking V2 here, this is your E1. So E1 is basically associated with unordered pair of vertices. This is called as your incident function. So graph is basically defined by 3 things: set of vertices, set of edges. English में बोलोगे तो कैसा? Each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. If you try to speak in mathematical term, you will say that a graph is basically defined as 3 things: set of vertices, set of edges, and the incident function. And such that if you will give an input to an edge, you will get the output as a vertices. One doubt, sir, can we say that V1 and V2 has to be distinct, has to be different? No, it's not necessary. Suppose if you will be writing like this. So here this is your E3 and then that is nothing but V4, one example. So we can say that E3 is basically associated with unordered pair of vertices. दो तो चाहिए ही चाहिए. So that is nothing but V4 comma V4. So basically this is your definition, the mathematical definition of a graph. Graph को और भी क्या कहते हैं? Graph is basically, it is also called as a linear complex or a one complex or a one dimensional complex. Now vertex is also representing as your node. As I have already told you, it is also called as a point in a normal term. But we can also call it as a junction. We can also call it as a point. We can also call it as a zero cell or a zero simplex. So these all are the different terms that you can find it out in the literature in order to understand the another word for a vertex. If I will be talking about edge, a branch or a line or an element or a one cell or an arc or a one simplex, these all are the terms that we are using basically for this. कुछ definitions पढ़ ले. समझ में तो आ गया ग्राफ का डेफिनेशन. नाउ विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द अदर टर्म्स दैट विच इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट इन ऑर्डर टू गो इनटू अ ग्राफ थ्योरी. Okay, so let's try to understand. The first definition is basically called as the end vertices. Second one is called as a loop or a self loop, and third one is called as a parallel edges. समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. Suppose if I'm having a one particular graph, okay, and now here we'll be having one self loop, okay. Okay, now let's try to understand what is end vertices. Just now I told you कि each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices. Those unordered pair of vertices are called as a end vertices. So for example, here if I'll be taking this as E1 and then this is your V1 or this is your V1 and then this is V2. So E1 is associated with unordered pair of vertices, that is V1 comma V2. So V1 comma V2 are called as the end vertices. It is very simple definition. So what is end vertices? This is called as the end vertex. What is loop? Now let's try to understand basically what is a loop. Now see, we have already understood the definition of an end vertices. That means if you will take this edge, it will be associated with unordered pair of vertices. Now if I will be talking about the loop, obviously the loop is also an edge. So according to the definition, the loop has to associated with unordered pair of vertices. So where is that unordered pair of vertices for E2? You can say about loop. So E2 is associated with V1 comma, okay, the E2 is associated with V1 comma V1. So what is the definition of a loop? Your definition of loop, it says that when the edge is having same end vertices, then that edge will become your loop. So here we can also write, if the end vertices are same, okay, if your end vertices are same, then that edge will become loop or that edge will become a self loop. So here we are having this definition about a loop or a self loop. What is a parallel edges? Parallel edges, if two or more edges, let's take this as V3, let's take this as V4. So if two or more edges associated with the same end vertices, if two or more edges associated with the same end vertices. So now here if I will take one example, this is E3, this is E4. Now if you will try to say that E3 is associated with V4 comma V3, now E4 is also associated with V4 comma V3. So if your end vertices are same, if two or more edges are associated with the same end vertices, then those two edges or more edges are called as a parallel edges. It is very simple definition. क्या है definition about end vertices? Each vertex pair of or each edge is associated with unordered pair of vertices are called as the end vertices. Loop, if the end vertices are same. What is the parallel edges? If two or more edges associated with the same end vertices, then that is called as a parallel edges. It is very simple definition. Okay, let's try to carry forward this definition and we'll try to understand about it. So here we are having a one definition which is called as a degree or a valency. And it is also having some representation. So let's try to find it out what is the representation of this. So what is a degree or a valency? Degree और valency निकालते ही किसका है? Degree और valency जो हम निकालते हैं वो होता है vertex के representation में. So here in order to find out the degree of any particular vertex, here that we can represent as a d of v. तो d of v है क्या? उसको हम लोग degree of a vertex 1 कहते हैं और degree of a vertex 2 कहते हैं. So let's take degree of a 1. है क्या degree? Number of edges incident on a vertex is called as a degree of a vertex. For example, ये देखो, this is one edge, this is another edge, so this one will become the degree of a vertex. ये देखो, one edge, two edge, three edge, this is called as a degree of a vertex. So here three edges are incident on a vertex. 1 2, 4 साल के बच्चे को समझ में आता है मेरे दोस्त. 1 2 and 3, so three edges are incident on a vertex, that is called the degree of a vertex. Let's try to see one of the example that we can easily try to understand. Okay, let's try to see this. Okay, so first, what is the point over here? We'll try to understand about the point. So we'll try to understand about the point, and then we'll try to understand about the edge. So here you'll have a V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4, and then this is V5. Now, if you will try to understand over here, what are the edges? This is your E1, this is your E2, this is your E3, this is your E4, this is your E5, this is your E6, and this loop is called as the E7. So what is the degree of a vertex? Those degree of a vertex is basically represented as what? Degree of a vertex is represented as number of edges incident on a vertex. Suppose if I will try to find it out, what is the degree of V1? If you will try to find out degree of V1, that is called as a 1, because one edge is only incident on this. Now if I will try to find it out, what is the degree of V2? Degree of V2 is basically 1, this is 2, this is 3. So here it will become 3. Now in the same way here also I can try to write it down. Degree of V3 फटाफट calculate कर सकते हो. Degree of V4 here also we can try to find it out. That is basically the 3. The most problem इसका होता है, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. तो loop सर 2 डिग्री देता है. हाँ, every loop or a self loop will provide 2 degrees. So here we can easily write it. Come on. बुक में भी लिख लो फटाफट. डिग्री ऑफ V3 is basically 3, and then degree of V4 is basically 3, and degree of V5, if I will try to calculate here, you will be getting as a 4. So this is basically the degree representations that we are having over here, and it is very simple. This is called as a degree or a valency. अब मैं आपको I'll try to show you one visualization. I'll try to show you one magic over here is basically something like this. Okay, let's try to find it out about it. For example, just now we have calculated, and what is that? Degree of V1 and degree of V2, okay, and degree of V3 and degree of V4 and then degree of V5. So here we have calculated all of these things. This is 1, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3, and then this is 4. Now you can also try to calculate by yourself. तो हुआ क्या कि जब ग्राफ बना, डेफिनेशन बना, डिग्री बन गई, तो अब एक्सपेरिमेंट तो करना बनता है. तो उन्होंने क्या किया? दिस मैथमेटिशियन, व्हाट दे हैव डन, दे हैव ट्राइड टू कैलकुलेटेड समथिंग, एंड व्हाट इज दैट? उन्होंने लेफ्ट साइड को सबको ऐड कर दिया. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू कि इफ यू विल ऐड degrees of all, let's try to add it. Okay, degree of V2, here you will have a degree of V3, this is basically degree of V4, here you will have a degree of V5. So if you will try to calculate 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, la 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 la, so you will get 14. 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, you will get 14. अब ये देखो ना, मैंने ये 14 को किस तरीके से लिखा है? मैंने 14 को लिखा है 2 into 7 तरीके से, और ये 7 को कैसे मार्क किया है? दिस बेसिकली 7 is total number of edges that you can easily write it over here. So this is called as a total number of edges. तो कहने का मतलब क्या है कि अगर आप सारी डिग्रीज को ऐड करते हो तो क्या वो बराबर होता है 2 times of edges? सर एजेस कितने थे? सर एजेस कितने थे? एजेस कितने थे? Here if you will try to calculate, so total number of edges if you will try to find it out is basically 7. हमारे पास 7 number of edges है. समझ में तो आया, but I am not getting a visualization. How you are doing it? How anyone can adding the degrees of all and getting the twice the number of edges? कोई बात नहीं, we'll try to find it out. I'll show you the visualization, और visualization के लिए ही मैं बाबा सर जाने जाते हैं. Okay, let's try to add, or we'll try to do it here. Now see, if I will try to take one example here, and what is that? See, if I will take like this. Now here you will have a age, and here you will have a degree, right? So if I will be adding degree here, or if I'll be adding age or degree, any concept. Now what you will do, how many degrees right now you're having? You're having degree 1 here, degree 1 here. So total degree is 2, and edges कितना है? Edges तो 1 ही है. Now you will try to add it one more age and one more, because each, सर एक डाउट है, आपने शुरू में ऐसा किया और ऐसा करके मैं छोड़ दूं अगर इसको, तो नो, अकॉर्डिंग टू द डेफिनेशन ईच एज मस्ट बी एसोसिएटेड विद अनऑर्डर्ड पेयर ऑफ वर्टाइसेस। तो ये तो होना ही होना है ना मेरे दोस्त, समझा? तो अब क्या होगा, नाउ यू विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि दिस इज डिग्री 1, डिग्री 1। अब ये वाली एज क्या आएगी, एक डिग्री यहां पर दे देगी और एक डिग्री यहां पर दे देगी। सो योर डिग्री विल इंक्रीज बाय 2 इफ यू आर एडिंग वन मोर एजेस ओवर हियर। Understood? Now suppose if we'll be adding one more age, then what will happen? Degree ये क्या हो रहा है, एक यहां लेके आ गया, एक यहां लेके आ गया. So that means if you are adding one more age, your degree is increasing by 2 once you are adding one more age into that. तो left side और right side को equate कैसे करोगे? Left hand side is equals to right hand side. 10th का याद है, वो ज्योमेट्री में बहुत बढ़िया लिखते थे, थ्योरम बनाते थे, इक्वेट करते थे और लास्ट में लेफ्ट हैंड साइड इक्वल्स टू राइट हैंड साइड लिखते थे. And you're having a beautiful drawings over here. Let's try to do it in a same way. So for example, if I want to equate these things into mathematics, I will try to multiply this side by 2. So here you will be getting all the things. अगर मुझे इसे equate करना होगा तो I have to multiply by that. So इसीलिए sum of degrees of all the vertices is equals to twice the number of edges. This is called as the handshaking theorem or lemma. And here you will be having one of the important theorem into a graph theory. This is the first theorem basically you can say about a graph theory. From my side you can say that. So if you will be adding the sum of degrees of all the vertices, that you will be getting twice the number of edges. It is very, very simple definitions and you can easily understand about it. Okay. Now let's try to take one example, or let's try to take one gate question on this. Okay. So that you can understand कि gate के question कैसे solve करते हैं and how it is related to that. So for example, if I will try to say that, okay, you can also pause this video and you will try to solve it by yourself. What is a number of vertices in an undirected connected graph? Just for now, you try to, ignore this connected word, क्योंकि connected, disconnected ये एक अलग topic है मेरे दोस्त. In a graph with a 27 edges. Okay, data what they have given 27 edges and they are having 6 vertices of degree 2. सो 6 वर्टाइसेस ऐसे हैं जिनकी डिग्री 2 है किसी ग्राफ में, और 3 वर्टाइसेस ऐसे हैं जिनकी डिग्री है 4. एंड देन द रिमेनिंग वर्टाइसेस विल हैव अ डिग्री 3. सो हियर द रिमेनिंग वर्टाइसेस, लिखते रहो देखते रहो, रिमेनिंग वर्टाइसेस इनकी डिग्री कितनी होगी? 3. अब हम क्या करेंगे, ये रिमेनिंग वर्टाइसेस को विल ट्राई टू कंसीडर एज अ x. ओके, लेट्स ट्राई टू कंसीडर एज अ x. सो व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला? The formula says that कि sum of degrees of all it is equals to twice the number of edges. बराबर, sum of degrees of all मतलब 6 vertices हैं जिनकी डिग्री 2 है, 3 vertices हैं जिनकी डिग्री 4 है, और remaining x vertices हैं जिनकी डिग्री 3 है. That is equals to 2 into e. E क्या है? 27. Now if you will try to calculate this, here you will get 12, this is 12 and this is 3x, this is 54. So here you will get 3x equals to 30 and here you will get x equals to 10. अब यहां पर देखना सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है. The main problem the student used to face in any examination is, as soon as you are getting the answer x equals to 10, they will be marking this x equals to 10 and they will be going without understanding the depth of a situation. क्वेश्चन में क्या बोलता है मालूम है? Remaining vertices is degree 3, but they are trying to find it out what is the number of vertices. They are not asking the number of vertices, sorry, they are not asking the remaining vertices. x हमें इतना प्यारा लगता है, ठीक है, not in real life. x हमें इतना प्यारा लगता है कि you are writing x equals to 10 and then you are marking answer 10, but that is not the answer. The answer is different. They are asking for total vertices. So if I will try to do that, total number of vertices that I will be having is basically 6 ये हो गए, 3 ये हो गए मेरे दोस्त, and then here you will be getting 19. So this is basically our answer. So answer D with respect to that. I hope you people have understood about the situation. And it is very simple. So the number of vertices in undirected connected graph, this you will be getting this. So whenever you do a mistake in anywhere while preparing for a gate examination, the one thing that you people can do, whenever you people are doing a mistake, write down this is my mistake and I will not be repeating it if you are getting anything like that. So जब आप mistake को accept करोगे तो आप सीखने की कोशिश करोगे, जब आप सीखने की कोशिश करोगे तब आप आगे बढ़ोगे. Okay, so accepting a mistake is a good thing. So this is a thing that people can understand about it. Okay, so basically this is, you can say that okay, basically you can say that here you will be having, we'll try to find it out total number of vertices. I hope people have understood about this. Okay, let's try to move ahead and we'll try to understand. Okay, we are having a different types of graph. So if I'll be talking about a simple graph, multi-graph, pseudo graph, तो बेसिकली सर इनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन किस तरीके का होता है? देखो, इनका जो क्लासिफिकेशन है that will be based on a loop and that is based on a parallel edges. Okay, now first I will be talking about such that what is a simple graph. Simple graph ऐसी ग्राफ होती है जिसमें कोई लूप नहीं और कोई पैरेलल एजेस नहीं होते हैं. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम अगर आपको कोई बोला कि सिंपल ग्राफ क्या है, देन यू हैव टू से इट इज अ ग्राफ. भाई ग्राफ वी हैव ऑलरेडी अंडरस्टूड, GVE, right? And then it does not have a loop, it does not have a parallel edges. Multi-graph, multiple edges, multi-graph, multiple edges. So it allows the parallel edges, but it does not allow the loop. And what is a pseudo-graph? Pseudo-graph, it allows the loop, it allows the parallel edges. This is a classification with respect to the, the different types of graph. और भी अलग-अलग categories हैं types of graph में, connected, disconnected, finite, infinite. वो हम देखेंगे क्लास में. बट राइट नाउ व्हाट वी नीड इज टू डू अ क्लासिफिकेशन बिटवीन सिंपल, मल्टी एंड सूडो. मल्टीपल edges, that means it will be having the parallel edges. So this is related to the types of graph. And in GATE examination we have to understand about a simple graph. Mostly the question is based on a simple graph. Sir multi दिया तो अरे तो ले लो, सूडो दिया तो ले लो, कुछ नहीं दिया तो simple graph we have to consider into GATE examination. Okay, so obviously the GATE will be mentioning each and everything related to that, so here we'll be having this particular time. Okay, so here we'll try to understand one more important point is that ki in a simple graph, okay, in a simple graph, okay, what will be the maximum degree? Maximum degree, sir degree क्या है? Number of edges incident on a vertex. Maximum क्या है? कितने edges बढ़ा सकते हो? How many edges you can put? That will become the maximum. Okay, let's take an example. Best part क्या मालूम है graph theory का? First you draw and you will get the visualization. This is the best part about a graph theory, that anybody can have it over here. Let's take n equals to 4. If I'll take n equals to 4, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Suppose if I want to attain a maximum degree to this, maximum degree means maximum number of edges. Sir, maximum हो गया. नहीं. Sir, maximum हो गया. नहीं. Sir, maximum हो गया. नहीं. Sir, maximum. अरे simple graph. Simple graph does not have the parallel edges and it does not have any particular loop. So it does not consisting of any parallel edges or a loop. So here ये देखना, 4 में maximum degree 3 आई. टोटल अगर n लिया तो it will only attain a maximum degree when it will be pointing out to the remaining n minus 1 vertices, right? So simple graph में you can have a maximum degree in a simple graph, that I can write it over here is basically is less than or equal to n minus 1. That is nothing but the maximum number of degree any graph can attain. Less than or equal to n minus 1 का मतलब क्या होता है? या तो वो n-1 होगा या तो उससे कम होगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होगा. उससे ज्यादा हो रहा है तो इट इज नॉट अ सिंपल ग्राफ. सर समझा नहीं. ये था, इसको और डिग्री बनाओ. कैसे बनाओगे? पैरेलल एजेस, नॉट अ सिंपल ग्राफ. ऐसे बढ़ जाएगी डिग्री, नॉट अ सिंपल ग्राफ. It has to be a simple graph. So when one vertex is associating with the remaining n minus 1 vertices, then it can achieve a maximum degree, and here it will be having n minus 1. So in a simple graph, the maximum degree it can achieve is basically n minus 1. So I hope people have understood about it. Okay. So in that way, let's try to also find out the maximum number of edges. Maximum number of edges. Maximum number of edges कब आएगा आपका? If I will take n equals to 4, let's take an example. तो एक बच्चा कहता है कि सर ये 4 vertices की ग्राफ में I can put a maximum number of edges. तो बोलता है सर हो गया maximum. दूसरा बच्चा आया and then saying no sir done, no sir done, no sir done. नो सर डन, नो सर डन. Oh, this is maximum number of edges. एक बच्चा आया बोलता है this is maximum number of edges. This is maximum number. I said it is a simple graph. When it is a simple graph, you cannot go for a loop. You cannot go for a parallel edges. And here you will be having the 4 vertices. इसमें maximum edges कब आएगा? इसमें maximum edges तब आएगा जब सारे vertices साथ में connected होंगे. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि जब इसकी डिग्री भी 3 होगी, 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 that means one will be connected to the remaining n-1 vertices. In another way of understanding, such that degree of this one will be n-1, degree of this one will be n-1, degree of this one will be n-1, degree of this one. Total कितना vertices है मेरे दोस्त? Total vertices that I can write it down is n. What is the formula? Sum of degrees of all is equals to twice the number of edges. So here total is n. सबकी डिग्री है n-1. That is equals to 2e. So e is equals to n into n-1 divided by 2. This is the total number of maximum number of edges that you can attain with the help of simple graph. 4 vertices, 5 vertices, कुछ भी. अब तो कैलकुलेट वैसे ही कर लोगे. तो मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ एजेस यू विल बी गेटिंग इज n into n-1 डिवाइडेड बाई 2. या तो ये होगा या तो इससे कम होगा, इससे ज्यादा नहीं होगा. इससे ज्यादा हुआ इट्स नॉट अ सिंपल ग्राफ. सो आई होप यू पीपल हैव अंडरस्टूड द बेसिक प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ अ ग्राफ थ्योरी. तो मैंने आपको 3 थ्योरम मजाक में पढ़ा दिए. सो आई होप यू पीपल हैव अंडरस्टूड एंड यू पीपल हैव एंजॉयड इट. ओके, सो वंस अगेन आई विल बी thanking to all of you for watching this video and see you soon. Okay, with respect to from all our Gate Wallah team and Drona team. Thank you so much.